Welcome to Tom Clark's Substack podcast.
Today, I want to talk about social media, politics, and some other stuff as well. I'm not sure what the thumbnail is going to be for this one. Sometimes I've got an idea and I'll just go from there, right? Other times I just hit the record button and see how it all plays out. I'm definitely on the second one this time. We're just going to see how it plays out. Before I get started, thanks as always to everyone who downloads, who listens to the podcast, who listens to my other podcasts as well. Everything available on boinkstudios.com, B-O-I-N-K, boinkstudios.com. That includes Tom Clark's Main Event, Tom Clark's 6M podcast, and Two Nations Under Ted, a Ted Lasso podcast. I appreciate everyone for subscribing, for following the shows, for downloading, for giving comments, feedback, for sticking with me through all this. Again, I very much appreciate it. And hopefully you're enjoying this show as well. So I want to thank you guys for that right off the bat. If you've never listened to me before, you can tell I'm pretty conversational. I'm pretty casual. I don't follow a script. In a previous role, I was tasked with creating a podcast to interview folks in the ecosystem of this company. Yeah. And I was hit immediately with, well, just send me the script. And I'm thinking, script? And I know what they meant by that. They meant bullet points, like questions, so they could be thinking about things and formulate their answers long before we got to the interview, right? That's fine. I played along, and things went fairly smoothly for the most part. But that was new for me because I'm very much accustomed to just going off the cuff. Now, my way may not work for everyone, and most of I would say if maybe not all of the podcasts you choose to listen to are scripted in some form or fashion. That's a guess. I don't know if that's right or not. But I can tell you this, mine aren't. And you may be listening to me going, yeah, we can tell, pal. I don't know. But, you know, I am who I am. I do this the way I do it. This is the way I'm comfortable doing it. I just like to keep it nice and free-flowing and easy and, again, conversational. I don't personally like to listen to anything that's too awful structured. But, you know, that's me. So how's things going for you right now? Everything all right? You doing good? Are you guys getting through the weather? As I record this, depending on where you are in the world, I'm on the south here, the southern part of the United States, North Carolina, and the coast is getting hammered, I imagine, as we speak. I've not looked at any updates lately. Hurricane Helene, I think, is coming through. You know, living in this part of the world, you just kind of get used to that. And there was tornadoes that were touching down, I think I read earlier, not far from here, I believe, or at least a tornado warning, whatever that looks like. You know, it's a scary time of year. If you've ever been on a cruise ship in the fall of the year, namely now, you know what I mean. Because you talk about choppy waters, man. It's that time of year, right? Hurricane season. And if you don't know that, you find out quick. I've been on, several cruises in my time. And if you don't know when hurricane season is, buddy, you find out. So if you set sail in like anywhere from September, October, November, I think is when the season's really high. Yeah, again, you'll find out quick. Hopefully everybody's staying safe. Things are all right for me. I mean, professionally, I've shared details about, my efforts to find a job and to land on my feet full time. I'm still doing some contract work on the side as a content writer. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's a lot of work, but writing's my jam. It's what I've done for years, and it's what I have always identified as, a writer first, podcaster second. Although you could flip-flop those terms. I mean, they're very close anyway. I had a call this morning to come on board, sort of a pre-screening. I don't know what you call it. But there was interest. I applied to one of these websites. This one is for Static Media, and it's called The List. It's a nice little website. I like it. I went and checked it out first. I wanted to make sure it was readable. That everything you opened didn't come with, 25 pop-ups and was impossible to scroll. By the way, I can't believe in 2024 we're still dealing with that. I thought we had controls in place to stop those things from happening, but I guess I thought wrong. And honestly, these spammy websites, man, I just don't know how they're still in operation. No one wants that. What part of you wants that? I mean, how many of you want to click onto a website and just be inundated with one bit of nonsense after another. And again, you can't read it. It's like watching, I don't know if it's as bad as it used to be, but like in the 90s when the news channels started coming into effect and everything, you would like Bloomberg TV, right? You'd see the little dude in the box on the screen, and he's surrounded by tickers and highlights and previews and, banners scrolling across the screen. I'm like, man, it's like a nightmare. Like, you just have a seizure from looking at it. Do you know what I mean? It just attacks your senses too much. But yeah, I don't understand how those websites, while they're still behaving that way, or why companies choose to go that route. Advertising dollars, I suppose. It's all about the clicks, man. Speaking of clicks, social media. So I've been social media manager a few different times in the past. I enjoy the work, and it allows me to flex my creative muscles. I was going to say flex my muscles, but yeah, I don't have a whole lot of those. I got some mental muscles, right? And creative muscles, I got truckloads of those. But real world muscles, well. Let's just say I have a gym membership and I need to get back. It's been a little while since I'm throwing my money down a hole, I suppose. I enjoy going, by the way. I don't know if you guys agree with that, or where you guys are in your life physically, but I enjoy going. I like going. Motivating myself to get there. Motivating myself to get there may be something else altogether, yeah? But once I get there, I enjoy it. And once I get there, I don't regret being there. You know what I mean? If I'm on the treadmill, I get a buzz. You can attribute that to, I guess, anything. Endorphins, I don't know. Adrenaline, I don't know. Who knows? But I enjoy it. But yeah, I got to get back. But being in the creative world of like social media management, marketing, content writing, as I said before, podcasting, all those things allow me to flex my creative muscles. I can tell you that I was here for the dawn of social media. All we had was MySpace. Remember that? Anybody know about MySpace? I think it actually still exists. I haven't looked in a long time. Seems like I looked. It's been a while, but I'm like, I wonder if it's it's still there. I found it. I don't know. Found it somewhere. But that's all we had, right? And then suddenly it just seemed like, well, Facebook's here, Twitter's here, Instagram, then everything just kind of blew up from there. And now social media is a lot of how we interact in the world, man. 2024. How many times do you actually call up a friend versus texting or messaging? I use like Facebook Messenger a lot. Now, to be fair, I podcast with folks all over the world. And, I'm not going to sit here and text someone in, London. Texting fees and data rates may apply, right? So, Facebook Messenger serves a purpose, okay? So I use it a lot for that. But man, social media, I think was supposed to originally just, sort of enhance our communication, enhance our relationships, yeah? Kind of be in addition to those things we have in our lives. But man, for a lot of people, they've become the substitution now. They become the life, right? Some people live on social media. I mean, they live on social media. Like, I don't know how they do it. Like, since I've been on the job hunt this most recent time, I'm on LinkedIn quite a bit. Trying to network and trying to get leads wherever I can. And sometimes I'll go on there to see how other people are dealing with, this dumpster fire of a job market. I got to get a new term. I've used the word dumpster fire a whole lot. Got to do better than that. I am a writer. You think I would have come up with something better than that? I'll have to work on it. It's still fairly early. I'm on my first cup of coffee, if that tells you anything. So yeah, I go on LinkedIn, live on LinkedIn most days. And by the way, if you thought LinkedIn was safe from the social media hoo-ha nonsense that happens, boy, did you think wrong. It's different from Twitter. I'll get to that in a second. But it's still pretty bad. Like the dichotomy that's happening on LinkedIn is interesting to say the least. It's like half, or I would say 3/4 of the platform are people who are out of a job, who are struggling to find work, struggling to make ends meet, who are sharing their stories of being ghosted, of emails not being returned, of can't land an interview, and everything in between. And that's me. That's me, man. I'm living that life, hardcore. No kidding. And then the other 25 to 30%, whatever that looks like, of people on LinkedIn are telling you basically, well, it's your fault. It's your fault, isn't it? It's your fault you don't have a job, pal. It's your fault that recruiters aren't getting back to you. Guess why? Guess what? It's your resume. Yeah, it's your resume, man. Your cover letter's not good. Your resume's bad. But for one low price, I'll be happy to take a look at it. Everything's a scam, baby. Everything's a scam. Believe that, right? So yeah, going through LinkedIn, honestly, is exhausting. It's a lot, dude. If you're on there, you know what I'm talking about. I don't need to tell you anymore. It's exhausting. And plus, people who want to call themselves influencers, by the way, maybe my least favorite word ever, honestly. And there's a lot of words I don't really like too much. Influencers up there. It's in the top 5. At any given time, it's number 1. Hate it. Hate it. Because if influencers can influence you, that means you're easily influenced. Okay? That means maybe you're not thinking for yourself. Doesn't mean you're a bad person. Doesn't mean you're an idiot. It just means that, if you don't have enough of an opinion on something and you rely on influencers to give you your opinion, that's kind of a bad sign, yeah? Maybe that means it's time to kind of stop and take a look at, what are you doing? What are you talking about in your life? What is it that interests you? What is it that you want to, who you want to be in your life that would make you go take on someone else's viewpoints and, sort of adopt them as your own. We can all be guilty of that, by the way. I had to force myself not to read movie reviews, by the way, before I go see a film or watch a show on a streamer. Not because I'll take that person's opinion, but because if it's a well-written review, even if it's harsh, even if it's great, it will jade my opinion going in. I don't consider myself dumb by any means. I'm sure you don't either, right? But man, I'm telling you right now, it has an impact. No kidding. It does have an impact. But yeah, like there's influencers on LinkedIn now, and they'll lead off with, one line of text, and they'll hit the enter button 3 times. So you're forced to hit the more button, to read more. It's part of the one little tricks. And then they'll wrap it up at the end with like a catchphrase or something they're trying to add as their signature. There's one, and I don't have there's nothing against this lady, but be a good human is what I read. By the way, if she happens to hear this, I enjoy your posts. It's nothing. I'm not trying to be critical, but I find it interesting that, let's top this off with something that it's a hook. Be a good human. And sometimes in her comments, people say, what does that mean? Of course, be a good human. What are we talking about? Right. So yeah, it's everywhere, man. It's everywhere. And look, I have a style of writing. I have a style of writing my own social media. I have a style of promoting my podcasts and my blogs, and I have a way of speaking and a way of sounding and, using bullet points and the copy for a new episode. I have a style when writing for clients in my job, in this job, right? I mean, everyone has their own style. I'm okay with that. But it's like when you see people consistently on one platform. Look, I enjoy writing on Substack. The UI UX of the thing is good. I think it's much more attractive of a platform than Medium. Medium's kind of bulky and ugly and feels very, very textbook, right? It's kind of cold. Substack feels warm and inviting, man. You know what I mean? Substack is like the thinking man's Facebook. Because, Facebook is kind of full of a bunch of dumb stuff. Can we be honest? It's dumb. But man, Substack is full of these folks, and they write consistently and consistently and consistently and consistently. And if you're not reading stuff from them, then you're reading headlines from people like, you want to be a good writer on Substack? You want to get me downloads? Just read this. Then you click it and you got to pay to read it. All right, man. Well, nope. Okay. Medium has that too, right? But of the two, I enjoy Substack more. But man, the influencer thing is everywhere on there, dude. It's everywhere. Twitter. By the way, the goal here is not to run through every social media platform, if that's what you're thinking. I don't have the kind of time. Plus, I don't want to bore you, okay? Twitter is a mess. Twitter's an absolute mess. It's just scorched earth on Twitter. That's all it is. Thanks to Elon Musk. Well, let me tell you something. I have known of some wackadoodle individuals in my time, but this guy is up there. This guy is absolutely up there. I mean, He took a platform that was doing fine. Wasn't the best social media platform out there, but I don't think that such a thing exists, right? Not to me anyway. But he took a platform that was fine. He gutted it. Now it's horrible. Now it's bleeding money, I think. I think it was making money before. Isn't that how it goes? But he's turned it to his own personal platform. Twitter's a joke. I'm not calling it X. I like the X. I'm a comic book guy. I'm the X-Men, right? I like the idea of simple and bold and black and stuff. That's kind of my style. But I have a hard time calling it X. Just saying. But yeah, he gutted it, man. It's horrible being on that platform now. And if you've ever looked at a post and go to check the comments, you know what I'm getting at, don't you? You go to check the comments and every comment on there is about something else, not even related to the topic. And then occasionally you'll see people in there like stragglers in a crowd of people at the back of the line. It was like, wait, I'm still here. Sometimes you'll see voices of people going, hey, how come there's no one here talking about the topic? And you don't find those folks till you scroll down about 20 posts or 20 responses. It's ridiculous. Bleeding money. This whole thing about freedom of speech is nonsense. It's an excuse to be Republican. It's an excuse to give voices to Trumpers. It's an excuse to give voice to Trump. Let's just be honest. That's what this is. It's just an excuse to put your own radical ideas out into the world. Your own radical ideas, your dumb theories, and everything. From the athlete at the Olympics who you claim to be a man, and everything else in between. Gun violence, the whole nine. Right? Ridiculous. Posting nonsense. Musk will post things and community guidelines will show up. Community notes will show up on the bottom of the post. Dude, you own it. He owns it, but he doesn't own it. Do you know what I mean? He may own it financially, but he doesn't own his actions. And that's a problem with a lot of those dudes. They don't own their actions. You know what I mean? They spout off nonsense. Look what's happening in Springfield right now, by the way. Absolute ridiculous. Insanity. That's what it is. The government's pushing back. Hey, Trump and Doofus. Doofus and Trump, leave us alone. Stop spreading lies, okay? Stop spreading lies. I use words like ridiculous and insanity because sometimes I don't really have anything left to say. Because sometimes I can't label it. Here's what I'll tell you in this whole political landscape. You can vote how you want to vote. I think I said that in the last episode. That's up to you. You don't want to share how you vote, that's fine. You know what I mean? It's your right to vote. Whatever. I get it. It's fine. I don't care. But if you can't see what's happening here, and I don't consider myself an enlightened individual. I don't believe that I'm in a room with the lights on while everyone else is in the dark. I don't believe myself to be elitist or above anybody else or anything of that nature. But I know a con man when I see one, okay? And here's what I'll tell you. This guy, his doofus VP running mates, that whole party that supports him, there is no plan. There is no platform. There's nothing. The platform is hate, and there's no plan. You know how I know? Every time that he's been nailed down to answer a question, what are you going to do for the economy? Specific questions, right? What are you going to do about health care? He's got nothing. What are you going to do about controlling food costs? He's got nothing. I read that rant, was it last week or the week before, about farmers, where he ranted for like 10 minutes. I'm like, a child wrote this. It's written by a child. I can't believe what I'm reading. Well, I can believe what I'm reading. To be honest, man, nothing he says at this point would surprise me. No, that's why when you see fake quotes, from like a phony account or whatever, but it's passed off as being his, right? And those are uncovered pretty quick, okay? You're like, yep, sounds like him. And it can be terrible. It could be like, I'm gonna kill Superman and take over Metropolis. You'd be like, yeah, that sounds about right. That's how bad it is, man. That's how bad it is with this clown. He's a rodeo clown, and he's terrible at his job. He's a rodeo clown that when the bull's charging, he steps out of the way and lets it get you. That's how bad at his job he is. He's not funny. None of this is fun. I laugh. None of this is funny. He's an utter and complete joke, and he's a dangerous threat, not only to this country, but to democracy. Look, at this point, Even if you don't like Kamala, even if you are anti-Democrat, even if you are a flag-waving, Trump-loving, Bible-thumping, no disrespect, and you can't see the forest for the trees and you hate gay people. Look, I'd tell you we don't want your vote, but that'd be a lie. Take 5 minutes out of your day and look at the world around you. Now look at your family. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, is this the kind of person I want running things for my kids, for my grandkids, for me, for my wife, my family? What do I want? You know what I mean? If you cut emotion out and you cut personal bias out, personal attacks out, personal reputation, the 34 felony convictions, the lies, the cover-ups, the consistently wasting money, he's misogynistic and he's transphobic and he's anti-immigrant and all this other stuff, he's racist, all this other horrible, horrible things that this guy is. If you take all that out of the equation, if you can, it's impossible, but if you insist on taking all that out of the equation, give me his platform. And don't hit me with, well, Kamala did it. No. I'm asking for specifics. What is his plan to right the ship? Don't waste your time. Don't Google it. There is none. He doesn't have a plan, kids. That's the problem, okay? That's the problem. There's no plan. You don't believe that, do you? If you vote for him, you don't believe anything I'm saying. That's what kills me. We can't just have an honest conversation. An honest conversation. You know why? Because I feel down to my core that I'm right. But if you support the guy, you probably feel the same way. The only thing we could come together on is what's best for our kids, for us as people. What kind of voice do we want representing us to the rest of the world? And if you can't answer that question without immediately defending everything that Trump says and does, I don't know what to tell you. Social media, by the way, is completely affecting politics. You know that, don't you? Completely affecting politics, man. Because of bots. It came out recently, yeah. The Russian government was behind it. Not just bots, but again, influencers. Hey, remember that word? This time, podcast influencer. I think from now on, I'm just going to list myself as a podcast influencer. Would you buy into that? I don't buy into it, and I just said it. It's crazy, isn't it? I can't believe this is what we've become, man. I can't believe this is who we are now. That we're going to random people that we don't know and taking their word for everything as if it's the gospel. But that's what we're doing. That's the power social media has, man. There's other platforms out there. Yeah, Reddit. I like Reddit. Reddit's full of really fun, good stuff. It's also full of a lot of conspiracy theories and QAnon nonsense and other crap. That stuff's everywhere too, yeah. You'd think we'd be over that by now, but we're not. I guess what you can take from this episode is, man, life's a downward spiral and we're all going to be dead soon. There's your daily motivation, kids. Hope you enjoy that. No. But yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous. And again, I don't mean to keep going back and using the same old tired words, but either I'm going to have to get a thesaurus or I'm going to have to just expand my vocabulary that way or just, I don't know, maybe create some new words to kind of define all of this. It's the world we live in. Here's what I can tell you. While I don't have answers, I do have this answer. Take a break. Put the phone down. And look, I'm not one of those guys that says, the world was so much better when we didn't have our phones. Suddenly I sound like Bane. It was better when we didn't have our phones. I don't know. I'm not doing that, by the way. I'm not doing that. That's not what I'm saying. I enjoy my phone. I enjoy my laptop. I enjoy being online. I do work online. I podcast online. I've met people online. I've made really good friends online. I've gotten jobs online. I've worked online. I love it. I watch movies online and listen to music and, do cool stuff and stuff that, create graphics and videos and stuff. It's fun, dude. I enjoy doing those things. But I do see the value in taking a break sometimes, even if it's just for an hour. Step away. And if you're not outdoorsy, let's always go outside and smell the grass. Like some of us don't enjoy being outdoors all that much. Put the phone down. Go make a sandwich. You know what I mean? Open that book you haven't looked at in a while. Or your Nook, whatever, yeah? If it's an audio book, put that in your ears. I do that all the time. Kick your feet up, enjoy your sandwich and your bag of chips, and just listen to an audiobook for an hour or 30 minutes, whatever kind of time you got. Again, I like to be realistic about this stuff, man. But sometimes it's good to just unplug, dude. Unplug. By the way, if you sense I'm rushing my way through this, I don't mean to. I just want to keep these episodes short and easily digestible, okay? I don't want to stick you with an hour. I do that on my other shows. For that, I feel like you're coming to the table for more than just hearing me talk. I'm talking about stuff, and I'm talking about stuff with other people. And I'm talking to the audience members about other stuff too. Do you know what I mean? So you're coming to the table expecting to hear about things you enjoy or maybe things you want to watch and haven't watched. You're going to get opinions, right? From folks who will be honest, and that's me, okay? But no, I'm not trying to rush through this. Again, I'm just trying to keep it tight. But I will wrap up with this. It's the heck of a thing to wrap up with because, man, this could take 6 hours, and I don't want to do that. Are you following the P. Diddy stuff? Dude, woo, my friend, let me tell you. It's the stuff coming out about that right now. This guy is going to prison. You know, I've had conversations about this stuff recently, and it's easy to go down the rabbit hole of all these people coming forward saying that he did this and he did that, you know. And look, here's the issue with that I have. Number one, I'm not defending this guy. It certainly looks like he's guilty, very guilty, okay? But you know how this works, right? Anytime, especially when it's a celebrity that is going down for something that he did or she did, it's especially big. You're always going to get people coming out of the woodwork claiming this, that, and the other. Look, people want book deals, man. People want settlements. People want to get paid. And here's what I'll tell you. You know, you're violated, you're attacked, you're assaulted, you know, you're groomed, you know, all these horrible, horrible things that are being said about this guy. You know what I think? I think you should get the biggest payout of your life. I don't think you should ever have to work again. I think you should write as many tell-all books as you want to and sell your story as the movie of the week. You know why? Because if it helps somebody, if it helps a victim, if it helps someone that either went through it with you or that he did it to as well, or someone maybe you never met, that's a good thing. And by the way, put your kids through college, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm totally fine with that. I don't mind that. But I think where it gets hairy is that you don't know who's being honest and who's not. And right now you could say anything is stick to the wall. It would stick to the wall with this cat, man. You know that, don't you? Anything you say right now would stick to the wall with this cat. I don't want to get too deep on this, and we're going to wrap it up with that. But I just wanted to, I don't know, just want to throw it out there. I may talk about it again as the case unfolds, or I may not. Who knows? Anyway, it's as crazy as the political stuff happening right now, man. Here's what I tell you. We are not far from the election. And if you are an undecided voter who still doesn't know, and I talked about this in the last episode, and I won't spend any time on it here. It's time to get off the fence, man. It's time to do the right thing, okay? If you've never voted Democrat before, now's the time to do it. I'm telling you, it's too important, man. You don't want to believe me? That's fine. You want to tune out and never listen again? That's fine too, I guess. I don't think I've disrespected anybody here. I call him Doofus, and I call his running mate Doofus as well, but they've earned it. You know, inciting riots and inciting violence and putting fear into people, which is weird, and just running everyone down and making you feel less than. I got a big problem with that, dude. I have a huge problem with that. I'm not saying we should all walk around feeling like life is beautiful and everything's perfect, because you and I both know it's not, yeah? But I also don't think we should walk around as, oh, woe is me, and the world's terrible, and this country's a garbage heap, and, you know, if only we'll vote for the Savior, we'll be fine. Sorry, not interested, not for me. I don't own a t-shirt, a flag, a bumper sticker, a keychain, a hat, or a pair of shoes with any political candidate's name on it. And I never will. By the way, I've seen footage of people like, there's a big honking 4-wheel drive truck in like Ohio with Harris Walz flags hanging all over it. I don't need that. I don't need that. I don't want that. It's not necessary. And I read a comment, it's like, well, you know, I don't like it, but, you know, that's the game they want to play. We should play it with them. I'm like, no, we shouldn't. No, we shouldn't. We should be above that. It doesn't mean we're going to be above people. Again, it's not about I'm better than you are, but I don't want to stoop to that. I want to stay at the level I'm at. I don't want to lower myself to anybody. Okay? There's no future in that. Not today, not tomorrow, not yesterday, dude. There's never any future in that. Be better, right? Be a better human. See how that came back around? Yeah. Well, sometimes we take inspiration from the oddest places, don't we? Hey, thanks much for listening and subscribing. You can find my pieces right now on Substack, tomclarkpods.substack.com. And you can also find me on Medium at medium.com/@TomClarkPods. Do me a favor, follow me on both those platforms. Check out Substack first, maybe, and Medium second. Read my stuff, leave a comment if you'd like to. You can reach out to me and let me know what you think. I'm always open to questions, comments, words of wisdom, whatever that looks like. Yeah, and also, when subscribing on the sites, do me another favor. Be sure to like and comment on today's episode. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. Do good out there. Be bold, and mighty forces will come to your aid. The second time I use that, maybe I'll start using it more often. But yeah, thanks for checking me out.
For more of Tom's podcasts, please visit boinkstudios.com.